To Madison County Fiscal Court meeting. This is a regular scheduled meeting. At this time, I'd like to call this meeting to order. Clerk Barger, if you will, please call the roll.
Master Robinson.
Here.
Master Barger.
Here.
Master Tudor.
Here.
Master Botkin.
Present.
Judge Taylor.
Here. At this time, I'd like to invite Reverend Patrick Messer up from First Christian Church to lead us in a word of prayer. Appreciate you being here.
If you would, please join me in prayer. God, we give you thanks for the gift of this new day. Thank you for every single person in this room, every person who will appear in this room. We thank you that they are a child of your own creating, someone that bears your own image, someone that you love. God, we also lift up one of your children, Aaron Stidham, whom we said goodbye to yesterday. We pray for his family and for all of his colleagues and friends, that you would surround them with your love and your comfort. God, we also thank you for the wisdom that animates every part of your creation, your wisdom that brings beauty and order. May that same beauty be at work in this room throughout every single order and affair that comes. All this we ask in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Thank you.
Tom, if you will, lead us in the pledge.
Stand, please. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated.
Thanks, Tom. Members of the court, y'all have had a chance to look over our previous fiscal court meeting minutes. It was our April the 12th, 2022 fiscal court meeting. At this time, I need a motion and a second to approve.
Motion approved minutes, Judge.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion? Seeing none, call the roll.
Master Robinson.
Yes.
Master Barger.
Yes.
Master Tudor.
Yes.
Master Botkin.
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. Next is our treasurer's report. We always have our treasurer's report on the fourth Tuesday, which is our second fiscal court meeting of the month. Good morning, Glenna. Glad you're here.
Your financial report is in the Dropbox. As of March 31st, 2022, our total fund balance for all funds is $26,218,881.49. As of March 31st, 2022, our revenues for the general fund are at 90.6%. Our expenditures are at 32.4%. Our road fund revenues are at 78.9%, and our expenditures are 57.4%. Our jail fund revenues are at 70.2%. Our expenditures are at 73.4%. The LGA fund, our revenues are at 120.1%. Our expenditures are at 46.7%. CSEP fund, our revenues are at 10.8%. Our expenditures are at 11.5%. Our 911 fund, our revenues are 71.8%. Our expenditures are at 57.2%. And our health fund, our revenues are at 66.2%. Our expenditures are at 57.8%. Does anybody have any questions about the claims or anything that you'd like to ask?
Any questions? Very good.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, Glenna. You also want to
Yes.
make an announcement about
Yes,
our
and I
new
already
budget?
handed out, but I just wanted to be on record distributing the 2022-23 draft fiscal court budget. So I handed that out. I also gave a comparison chart to look at. You all can call me anytime. We will not have first reading until the second court in May. So in between now and then, you all can look at it, call me with any questions, and we can discuss it.
And the comparison's really good because it shows back the last several years, so we can see trends and how we're running. So, and any questions for her or me, either one, feel free to call if you have a question about something. So, thanks, Glenn. Appreciate it. All right, first order of business today was we have several special guests, and I really appreciate everyone that was here early so we could get a big group picture. So I appreciate y'all coming in early, but at this time I'd like to recognize you publicly. We have a Madison County proclamation that is honoring National Nurses Day. Whereas at the end of the 19th century, Florence Nightingale founded modern nursing, and whereas thanks to her strict use of hand washing and hygiene practices while caring for wounded soldiers in the Crimean War, Nightingale and her helpers reduced the death rate from 42% to 2%, ushering in nursing as we know it today. And whereas it is important to recognize the dedication nurses demonstrate in our clinics, hospitals, emergency rooms, urgent care centers, nursing homes, health departments, schools, universities, and private practices throughout our communities. And whereas nurses are essential, and we are thankful to the nurses who are on the front lines to ensure we are delivering care to our community. And whereas administering shots and medications, performing physical exams, nursing wounds, and in many cases caring for dying patients are only a few of the many duties nurses perform every day. And whereas nurses are there for us during some of the most vulnerable moments in our lives. And whereas this National Nurses Day, the Madison County Fiscal Court would like to express their gratitude to the nurses that are caring for patients in our county, state, and across the nation. Now, therefore, I, Reagan Taylor, Madison County Judge Executive, and the Madison County Fiscal Court do hereby proclaim May 6th, 2022 as National Nurses Day and urge citizens to honor all nurses for their dedication and service to keeping the people of our communities healthy. So I would like to have all the nurses stand that are here today, because I would like to try to recognize all the different groups and agencies that are here today representing. Dr. Kathy Edwards, EKU BSN Coordinator. Dr. Mindy Blair, BHR Vice President and Chief Nursing Officer, which is BHR, which is Baptist Health Richmond. Lawana Leon Hart, yep. Baptist Health Richmond, RN Director of Nursing Professional Practice. We have Ava Wright. Where's Ava? Ava Wright, Madison County Health Department Director of Nursing. Ruth Gibb, Madison County Health Department Community and Home-Based Waiver Program. Lloyd Jordison, Madison County Health Department Interim Public Health Director. Thank you, Lloyd, for serving. Dr. Monica Kennison, Berea College. It's great to have you. Susan Clayton, it's on my list, but maybe couldn't make it. Dr. Lisa Turner, also Berea College, associate. She had to go to work. Well, that's good. That's good. Yeah, that's great. Well, I'm glad we had her. Randy Neely, our Madison County Assistant Superintendent, is here with us. Sharon Barnes is Madison County Schools Director of Nurses. Laura Fott, is that right? Hi, Laura. Good to have you. St. Joseph Berea Acute Care Manager. Melissa Agee, St. Joseph Berea Emergency Department RN. Carolyn Cornett is also St. Joseph Berea Acute Care RN. Amanda Dargavel. Hi, Amanda. Dominion Wellness Director. Melissa Yates, Dominion Community Relations Director. Yep. Yeah, and a nurse for 34 years? Right on. Great, congrats. If I left anybody out, I think everybody waved, I saw. So thank you all so much. And if anybody would like to come up and address the court, I know that I'm very proud of each and every one of you. We've had a very tough past couple years, and we could not have done it without your all's leadership, your desire to help people and to serve others. I was very proud of our community, of all coming together. I got a front row seat at that with our COVID task force that we had starting out on a daily basis. Many of your all's organizations were part of that, with the health department, Baptist Health, Richmond, St. Joseph Berea. We all, community leaders, our school system, Randy's back there somewhere, first responders, we all came together just to have that open line of communication, because it was a team effort. But you all were right there on the front lines keeping us safe. So thank you, and God bless you. Yep. And anybody's welcome to come up. We got a lot of people here for proclamations. So Jill, since we already taken a picture, we just sort of pass those out and stuff to organizations.
Judge, while she's passing them out, I'd just like to say I had the opportunity to spend the last week with some of these ladies, per se, at the hospice center over in Lexington, and I'll just tell you, we see angels every single day. We just don't recognize you because you blend in with us. But just the work that you do is just, it's God sent. We thank you.
We good? So I know everybody's, but yes, ma'am, absolutely.
I'm Dr. Mandy Blair, Baptist Richmond Chief Nursing Officer, and I'm sorry, I sound worse than I am. I have some allergy-induced laryngitis today, but, you know, I just want to say how grateful I am for the recognition from Madison County Fiscal Court for this special day, for Nurses Day, and I could not be more humbled than to be in the room with all of these nurse leaders, because I can almost try not to get emotional, because you're exactly right. It has been a rough 2 years in healthcare. Probably Florence, I don't know, she could be rolling over in her grave right now watching the last 2 years. But I want to tell you, and I think I can speak for everyone here, that we humbly accept this on behalf of every registered nurse at the bedside and in those classrooms and in those Madison County health departments, everywhere they were in the trenches, to be able to take care of our community. And it's not been a better honor than to do that for the last couple of years, and we'll continue to do it.
Thank you very much. So, I don't want to kick anybody out, but I do know that everybody's very busy. And so since it's such a large group, you're all more than welcome to stay. And this is being recorded so that nobody can say I kicked you out. But you're all more than welcome to leave if you would like, and we'll just pause for a minute if you want, but you're welcome to stay as well.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you all. Appreciate you all.
Thank you. Thank you. See if I need the glasses clean. I'm good. You need glasses clean.
No, good.
Pretty good, thank you. Okay. Take care. All right. Thank you.
All right, next we have another proclamation recognizing National Small Business Week. We also have some special guests with us today that have got some national awards. So, whereas America's economy is driven by the resilience of our small businesses, who despite a worldwide pandemic continue to pioneer innovative solutions to our country's greatest challenges and create opportunities for families and workers. And whereas from the forefront shops that anchor Main Street to the high-tech startups that keep America on the cutting edge of the small manufacturers driving our competitiveness in the global stage, small businesses are the backbone of our economy and the cornerstones of our community. And whereas when we support small businesses, jobs are created and local communities preserve their unique culture. And whereas because the country's 32.5 million small businesses create nearly 2 out of 3 jobs in our economy, Madison County is filled with numerous small businesses and entrepreneurs, 2 of which have been recognized by the Small Business Administration. And whereas Mountain Association is recognized as the SBA 2022 Kentucky Financial Services Advocate of the Year, and whereas Native Bagel Company and owner Katie Starsman is recognized as the SBA 2022 Kentucky Women's Small Business of the Year, and whereas the President of the United States has proclaimed National Small Business Week every year since 1963 to highlight the programs and services available to entrepreneurs, and whereas Madison County Fiscal Court supports and joins in this national effort to help America's small businesses do what they do best, grow their business, create jobs, and ensure that our local communities remain as vibrant tomorrow as they are today. Now therefore, I, Reagan Taylor, Madison County Judge Executive, and the Madison County Fiscal Court do hereby proclaim May 1st through May 7th, 2022 as National Small Business Week, and urge all citizens to support the small businesses and entrepreneurs in our community. Congratulations, Katie. Would you like to come up?
I guess I will. Thank you.
Absolutely. We also, Mountain Association. Yeah. Good to have you.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Actually, before you all speak, y'all want to do a quick picture? Is that good? Jim?
Yeah.
And
I'm
then,
sorry I was late. I
No,
didn't get
it's
here
okay.
early enough for you.
if y'all will, just come right over here. One of you on each side. You wanna hold that?
John, one step to the.
To the right? Okay.
I'll left, you're right.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. You're welcome to say a few words if you like.
She doesn't, I will.
What'd you say?
I said, if you don't, I will.
Okay. It's interesting to be here at the same time when all the nurses are being honored, because it's easy as a small business owner to say how hard it's been for us to survive and grow during the last 2 years, but I can't compare to what the healthcare field has been dealing with. But it has been hard as a small business owner. This past week, we celebrated 6 years in business. We started as a cart at the Berea Farmers Market, and now we own a location on Chestnut Street in Berea, and I'm really proud to own a business on Main Street in town. I don't want to do our business anywhere else other than Madison County, and I'm really proud to be a business owner here. We have 15 employees, and I'm looking to keep growing and continuing to contribute to our small community.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's awesome. Congratulations.
Good to see you, Jimmy.
I'm Greg Doyle with Mountain Association. We're based in Berea. We serve Appalachia, Kentucky. We specialize in small business, helping small businesses with financing as well as technical assistance, training, that kind of thing. But we are big believers that small business is the backbone of America, and we think that's what's going to keep moving the country forward by helping invest in small business, especially startup businesses that have very few options in terms of being able to get off the ground. So we really appreciate the recognition. And thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you
you.
for what you do.
Appreciate it. Congratulations on your awards.
Quick comment if I could, Judge.
Absolutely, sir.
You know, it's nice to see two excellent small businesses recognized, you know, here in Madison County, and it's also, you know, happy for me, you know, these are two that are down in the southern end of the county. I can say that, you know, the folks at Mesa do a fantastic job. I've known of what they've done for many, many years. And I'll have to give a shameless plug for Native Bagel as well as Nightjar. If you haven't been there, I will go on record to say that they have absolutely the best cheeseburger in the county. I promise you, if you haven't been, Wednesday through Saturday, Katie and her team do a fantastic job and super quick service. And the great thing about it is, you know, her products are locally sourced, which is great. It's Berea College beef and Berea College eggs, and the list goes on and on of the ingredients and what they really do there to, you know, to help, you know, the college and the community and everybody that's there. So, Katie, thank you for the work that you and your staff do, and I enjoy coming up there at least once a week. She can attest to that because she's normally there. I get it to go, and it's fantastic. But thank you both. I appreciate what you all do and what you've done for this county.
Thank you. Appreciate y'all being here today. It's great to recognize you. Next on our agenda is a Kentucky Transportation Cabinet update, and we have some of our transportation friends with us here. Casey, if you want to come up, and then you can introduce all your crew, if you would like.
All right, thank you, Judge, and good morning, members of the court. My name is Casey Smith, and I'm with the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet's District 7 office in Lexington. I'm here with Francis McDonald in planning. He's in the IT in planning, engineering training, and also P. Shane Tucker, Patrick, with KYTC Planning. He's also our LPA coordinator and project manager, and also Clyde Newcomer, who is the construction and maintenance section supervisor covering the Madison and Garrett County areas. Seeing on the agenda, we got a Kentucky Transportation Cabinet update. I could go ahead and provide this update. Of course, this is the year where we put together our next highway plan. Every even year, we go over our budget and put together a new biennium plan. That has been recently been through the House, through the Senate, and has been signed to the governor, signed by the governor as of Monday 2 weeks ago, I believe. Right now, we are that report has been sent over to the Transportation Cabinet's Program Management Office, where they're looking at all the various different projects within that enacted plan. And hopefully, sometime in late May, that document would be published and sent out to the public for their interest and review. There are several projects in Madison County that are in this plan, and a couple large projects that we have coming up that we're looking at lighting pretty soon. Kentucky 52 from Paint Lick out to Duncan Interchange of I-75, as well as US 25 from Pumpkin Run down to US 421 area around Duncannon. We also have a couple smaller projects, school safety projects on that list. There's a Kingston Elementary turn lane project out in southern Madison County, as well as a few other school enhancement safety projects that we're looking at doing, one over at Madison Central High. So, the Speedwell Road over there by App Harvest, I believe, is also another project. It is we do have it currently listed as a state-funded project, so this we'll just have to be on the lookout for that. Yeah, but
There's also a project in restart on Martin Bypass at Wilderness Trail. I can't never remember the road. You say 686 or something? 1986. 1986. Going to do offset left turn lanes.
Yeah.
That's already been out for bid, and we
Yep.
hope to get the work done this summer while school's out.
Yeah, y'all, court members, y'all know what he's talking about, at the two intersections on each side of Cottle and Glen Marshall. Right now, you turn from the far right side, and so they're gonna do offset turning lanes, so that you're not really turning across, I guess it'd be kinda like 4 lanes of traffic. You're just gonna be turning across really just 2 lanes of traffic. Does that make sense?
That's where you can see what's coming.
So you can see what's coming. There's been a lot of accidents there in the morning, especially the way the sun comes up on that hill. So,
I think there was a little doubt out there maybe 2 years ago.
mhm.
That'll be started up soon. Sorry.
oh no, that's fine. And of course, Berea Bypass is still ongoing, so under construction. But yeah, other than that, I can just open it up for questions. If you had any curiosities or interest on anything, you might be able to address.
I do have one question. The blacktop is scheduled, I saw this year for Cal East, and there have been, I've received a lot of questions here lately about the any improvements that might be made on that, especially where it floods every single time it rains.
Okay.
Yeah, we're looking at trying to do drainage work there also. It's not on this project, but we are working, trying to do that separately with different funds, trying to work with the homeowner there.
So, Tom, is this that swale that, like, right before you get to
Lancaster.
Lancaster Road?
Yeah.
That always floods.
Yeah, we actually discussed that, Tom, at our meeting a couple months ago when we were going over our flex funds and stuff, and they had actually already started having some conversations with that landowner,
And and
not Mr. Farthing, across the road. They're gonna try to take it to that direction.
I see.
I think that y'all have talked to Danny as well, but I think that,
Yeah, I talked to him.
yeah, so.
Good.
Any other questions?
I gathered several names on a petition a couple of years ago about possibility of putting a turn lane in it by the Nissan dealer where you come off 4 Mile onto the bypass. With all those new developments back there, there's probably 1,000 new homes in that area right there. And they back up in the morning, come in there by Nissan. Most of them are turning right to get on the bypass to go to Lexington. A lot of those residents work in Lexington. If you could look into that and, do some research and study on that situation, it'd be a right turn lane there off 4 Mile onto the bypass.
Onto the bypass, and I believe that is within the HSIP section.
They're actually,
We had studied every intersection along Martin Bypass, started with Great House, then Atwood Drive, then 4 Mile, and going on down. The two there at Cottle that we talked about earlier, that's first on the list. We've got some innovative intersections that's not met with the best of approval, to say the still looking into that, but that would definitely be taken into
Okay.
consideration.
Thank you all, appreciate it.
And there's also some discussion there at 52 as well,
Yeah,
in the bypass,
Yeah.
how that backs up,
Yeah.
about trying to come up with something that's creative there to
yeah.
not make it back up so far. And it
we've
really
actually-
backs up, turning left off of 52 onto the bypass, but
Yeah, we actually got a contract through our, traffic engineering section to look at signal timing all over Madison County, so we're excited about that too. And, part of that was look at that intersection at 52 to see, we got a lot of pavement out there, so if it's something we can do with the lighting, great, if not, we maybe need to try to do some restriping. Believe me, I live Waco, I know, yeah.
Would you mind talking on the microphone?
No.
You're all right.
Comments online if people would like to hear what you're saying.
Yeah, they can't hear you on the video.
What do I need to say again? I'm kind of upset we didn't get a picture, but anyway. We're doing signal timing throughout all of Madison County to take a look at the eastern bypass, Martin bypass, and try to figure out ways we can move traffic. Part of that will be looking at the signalization time in that 52 intersection and maybe reconfiguration of the
Thank you, Shane.
timings, 'cause, yeah, believe me, that getting home is
Yeah.
hard and.
So if you leave
taking
it
the
that way,
kiddos to-
you know
yeah.
what kind of traffic
Yeah,
situation.
taking the kiddos to school this morning was 4 lights deep, so it's a lot. Did I speak up better that time?
I'm just following the directions.
Yeah. If not, Reagan knows how to get a hold of it. Excuse me, Judge Taylor knows how to get a hold of it. I apologize.
Also, just one more thing, Reagan, I also have a lot of concern about the intersection at 499 and 25, right there by Kaler Marine. There's constantly wrecks down there. I mean, people 2 or 3 times a day, you can't get in and out over there, not to mention the guardrail there. It's not been up 3 months and somebody run over it again. I mean, it's just a horrible shape there.
Yeah. That was one that we looked at, part of the.
That's
Yeah,
one
you
that's
would.
actually part, yeah, that is one of the intersections that are part of discussions
Yeah.
as far as like doing some improvements on
Right.
that area. Yeah, but yeah, we do understand that there are quite a few wrecks out in that
Yeah,
area.
thank you.
Yeah.
What you did on the other end of it there a couple years ago was just fantastic, you know.
At
something-
421?
Yeah, I mean, that really saved a lot of lives right there. We appreciate that.
yeah.
That's good.
I gotta give the judge credit on that one, because we was looking at redoing a bridge and then it didn't materialize and we ended up being able to implement and do the
Well, it was,
improvements there at the end,
yeah.
yeah, because the bridge was basically out of service, wasn't it?
it was, and they were looking to spend money on that bridge when really that money needed to go to that intersection, so that's,
Great idea.
Yeah, that was a good idea. It was in the plan as a bridge replacement,
Yeah, I
I
know.
believe, and
Yeah.
nobody really, it was not a
Yeah.
well-used bridge, so,
Yeah.
yeah, so that was a good way of spending that money.
All right, any other questions for them, just on the update? Casey's gonna talk a little bit about, the flex funds. And I really think, I think it'd be more appropriate the way the resolution is written for him to kinda go over the flex funds. Then we'll read the resolution, and then we'll answer the yes and the no's that come along with the flex funds, vote, so.
Okay.
So go ahead.
Very good.
Casey.
So with it's the rural secondary program, and I just want to check with everyone if they have a copy of this form along with the map on the back. Okay, very good. So every year, there is a new pot of rural secondary funds that are applied to rural secondary roads, which we like to coordinate with the counties in order to, to recommend which maintenance resurfacing projects that we would like to do within the county. Just looking at the top, you'll see that there are fiscal year numbers, fiscal year 21, 22, and 23, and I'm just going to focus on that last column. Going down there, you see a flex percentage. A flex percentage, what that is just as it has been in previous years, it is a share of the rural secondary distribution to the county, of which the amount that is shared from the rural secondary program is based on a maintenance rating. Now, the maintenance rating is a scale from A to F, or A to D, I'm sorry, and based on that maintenance rating, we're able to, that helps in determining what share of the rural secondary funds that we provide. In Madison County had a maintenance rating of B, which allows us to offer 20% of our RS funds to the county to address any maintenance issues or resurfacing projects on county roadways. The amount that we are anticipating would be available to the county is, the number down below is $297,382. That would be the flex funds portion. And then below that is the balance of RS projects. That's the general RS funds that are to be applied on rural secondary routes. That's in the amount of $517,842 of a total balance of between general rural secondary funds and flex funds of $815,224. Now below you'll see two blue diamonds. There's an FY21 and FY22. These roads should look familiar to some of you because those were the ones that were authorized in previous years. For fiscal year 21, we have awarded and completed Kentucky 499 Crooksville Road from US 25 out to US 421, and as well as Dreyfus Road, Kentucky 3376 between Cedar Drive and Bark Road. And as I understand it, those projects are completed and resurfaced. Below that is fiscal year 22. We did a portion of Calais Road, a portion of Estill Street, and a portion of Crooksville Road between US 421 and Muddy Creek Road. Those projects have been awarded to construction. I believe they were let sometime in October or November. Since that is at the end of the construction season, we will be looking at those projects being taken care of pretty soon, since the asphalt plants are beginning to open back up for the construction season. So we expect that these projects to be completed by June 30th, which is the end of our fiscal year. So we'll be seeing some movement on that, like I said, relatively soon. So below that is an orange diamond, which is fiscal year 23 recommended rural secondary projects. And this is one of the items that we are looking for an action on. We have 3 recommendations of use of the general rural secondary funds, and that would be Kentucky 374 Charlie Norris Road between Moberly Road and 4 Mile Road, Kentucky 595 Kirksville Road between Spurlock Road and Barnes Mill Road, and Kentucky 1985, which is Whitlock Road between Kentucky 169 Tates Creek Road and Baldwin Road. Now if you look in the map in the back of your form or on the next page, you will notice that the ones for the general rural secondary funds are circled in orange. The rural secondary roadways within the county are the ones that are highlighted in yellow, and that's those are the roadways that these funds are intended to be provided for. And so we do have 3 recommendations on using the general rural secondary funds. Now the next item below that is a green diamond, and that is the recommendation for flex funds. Now the flex program operates the same way as it did in previous years. The county does have the option to elect to use the flex funds on a state roadway if they so choose to. If the court wishes to do that, our recommendation would be to take care of Kentucky 977 College Hill Road, beginning at Kentucky 52 in Waco and heading north up to Oakley Wells Road. Now that is a separate action that the court could decide on if they wish to use their flex funds on a state roadway. If not, then the flex funds will actually go to the county for use for maintenance projects on their roadways. With that, I'll just open it up for any further discussion or questions.
I think at this time it would be appropriate to go ahead and now read the resolution so that then we can open it up for discussion. So at this time I'll read Resolution 2022-52, a resolution for the Madison County Fiscal Court to vote on the recommended use of the FY 2023 Rural Secondary Program funding. Whereas the Rural Secondary Program was established as a mechanism of funding for roads classified as rural secondary under the state primary road system, and whereas each fiscal year funds are allocated to the Rural Secondary Program as authorized in Kentucky Revised Statute Section 177.320 through 177.360, and whereas these statutes delineate that the funds shall be used for construction, reconstruction, and maintenance of secondary and rural roads in each county. And whereas the roads being recommended for the 2023 fiscal year are Kentucky KY 374 Charlie Norris Road, KY 595 Kirksville Road, and KY 1985 Whitlock Road. And whereas the road being recommended for the use of flex funds for 2023 fiscal year is Kentucky KY 977 College Hill Road. And whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court wishes to vote as follows. Does the Fiscal Court accept the recommended routes for the use of the FY 2023 rural secondary funding? Yes or no? Does the Fiscal Court wish to apply flex funds to a state-maintained roadway? Yes or no? Now therefore be it resolved that the Fiscal Court does hereby approve this resolution and authorizes the Judge Executive and or his designee to execute same on behalf of the county. So, at this time, I think it'd be appropriate to have a motion and a second based off yeses and nos of those two questions in our resolution. My recommendation to the court would be yes on the first one, which is, does the Fiscal Court accept the recommended routes for the use of FY 2023 rural secondary funding? Would be yes. And then no on the second question, which is, does the Fiscal Court wish to apply flex funds to a state-maintained roadway? I would actually vote, or I would actually put no. That way we can use those funds on our county routes, which is approved, as Casey just told us.
So, Judge, I'd like to make a motion to approve Resolution 2022-52 as just presented by yourself.
Second that motion.
All right, so I have a motion and a second. All right, now we can open it up for discussion. Does anybody have any questions? This is, I guess this will be considered our 8th time doing this as a court. And I don't think once that we've given the flex funds back to the state. So we really appreciate it because it really helps us. It really does, in all seriousness. This program is really good and helps us get a little bit more blacktop down in our county roads, our more rural routes that don't see fresh blacktop as often. And it's always good when you present, Casey, to talk about really how our rural secondary roads actually are rated. A B rating is not a bad rating.
That's the target.
Yeah.
Is B.
Yeah. So thank you all. So I do have a motion.
I was just gonna say something to Casey there a minute. I wanna commend you all for the Dreyfus Road out there, the resurfacing on it. I got a couple of calls about some water ponding out there in one of the curves in a low place, and y'all went out and took care of that within a couple of weeks. And I was out there this past week, and it seems to everybody in that area seems like it's helped the road out there. So thank you all for clearing that up for us.
I appreciate you talking about the turn lanes and showing a concern for the traffic that we build up when we develop something, because I had a lady that texted me just, it's been about a week ago now, and that was her big concern. She knew the development was going in on 25 just down from the Shell station and the big intersection. She said there's been a lot of wrecks at the intersection. Well, the lights helped that a whole lot, I think, that they put up. And but she's concerned about the development that we just approved where the lake is. We don't have that much development there going in right now. It's all going to be in phases, I guess. But there will be a time come that we need to look at turn lanes, because it's just a little 2-lane road and it's already pretty heavy with traffic. But I appreciate your concerns and looking at the turn lanes.
Yes.
Tom?
I gotta talk louder.
I was just gonna say, I also want to thank you for addressing, and it looks like that it's actually gonna happen, is the turning lane out there at Kingston School. We've been talking about that for first contact I got on that was about 2 years ago. So we've been talking about that for several years now, and I'm glad to see that that's made its way to the books there finally. So we appreciate that.
It's very much active in our office. We've still got a little bit of right-of-way issues, but I don't think it's anything that we couldn't handle. We do have it scheduled for letting later this year, so it's looking pretty good that we'll be able to address it. That was I believe that was one of the school safety projects that the governor had just authorized. I believe mid last year. So
That's good. I mean, it's a couple times a day, it's a horrible place, and I know Sheriff Cole has sent deputies out there and tried to alleviate some of that. Sheriff, we appreciate that.
Right.
So we thank you guys.
Casey, now might not be the time to address this, but I've got several calls on 499 at the intersection of Pine Meadow Road. It's a little narrow country road that comes off on 499 about a mile in Madison County after you come out Estill County, you come over a little rise, and there's a school bus loading there, and they'd like to get a bus, children on bus sign there, loading school bus or slows. There's a lot of heavy traffic in the afternoon, about 3:30.
This is on Kentucky 499?
499.
499.
At the intersection of Pine Meadow, which is a little narrow country road. And this
Okay.
kid out there is, there's about 5 kids load the bus there and unload. And it's very dangerous. It's a blind spot. If there's a little warning sign there that there's a school bus loading or unloading or whatever,
Yeah, okay.
it would sure help. I appreciate that.
I'll talk to our traffic section.
Okay.
That handles like signage and stuff and see what they can do.
Okay.
To help with that.
That's the biggest
I
issue.
called Bill Wesley of State Rep on that, and he was supposed to be relaying it back to you guys, so.
Okay. I'll give her a heads up.
Thank you.
So-
Shane, if you don't mind, come to the mic if you don't care.
I was gonna ask, Magistrate Barger there, the area you're referring to, where was that again?
At, North 25. where the
627.
station is.
627.
And 25.
Yeah, I misunderstood you. I was gonna mention that we forgot on our updates that we're looking at I guess a feasibility, planning study from the interstate out to Crutcher Pike to
Yeah.
improve, function and formality out there
Yeah.
with the new developments coming. I misunderstood you. I'm sorry to interrupt too. I thought you meant out there, but I should have known where you were.
Which that is a good,
district
I mean,
is.
that,
So, we've talked
that
about
is a
it.
good thing to bring up to
Yeah.
the court members, because, that really, I guess, deals with, District 2 and District 4, really, because that's where they all kind of come together, but,
Yeah.
with the new developments coming, there on the corner of Goggins and Barnes Mill, and then also the city's investment in the farm for the new park on Goggins. And now Goggins, as you all well know, the section from Barnes Mill to Tate's Creek, the city actually annexed Goggins in, so we no longer maintain that. But there's issues already with people backing up on the interstate on X87. It's getting really dangerous, because you're ended up being just like you were at Boonesboro several years ago before they changed that, where you're backing up out on the interstate. And so, we worked with the city of Richmond. We had meetings with the Transportation Cabinet about working on a study, to really look at that whole section from exit 87 out to Crutcher over to Tate's Creek, to see how that we can make sure that traffic all flows smoothly. Goggins was built well before its time, and it was a local sort of bypass for locals to know how to navigate through high traffic time periods and stuff like that. And so, we're looking at, for the future, again, being proactive and not reactive. We're looking to, what is that next bypass? What is it we need to plan for the future? So, and that was funded in this, wasn't it? That study is part of
Yeah,
that.
I believe I saw that in there.
I'm pretty sure it's part of the
Yeah, I believe
budget.
Representative Frazier put it in there for
Yeah.
us,
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's, that will be, kind of operate a little bit like a small urban area study, so, the county would be very much involved in our progress in putting together that report, so.
Yep.
And I haven't
Aye.
seen the plans, Judge, of the new area that you're talking about for the development in, but I have had lots of questions about that intersection there at Goggins and Barnes Mill.
Mhm.
It's just,
From what I understand, traffic backs up right up to the exit ramp of I-75 for those trying to get to that shopping
Richmond
center.
Center, yeah.
Richmond Center, yeah, so.
Yep. Which I think some of that from a temporary fix could be pretty easy. We talked about this, having two left or two right turning lanes. Right now you've got two left that go towards, EKU on a bypass. Pretty easily you could have two rights because you got two lanes to turn into, which I think would speed up that backup, because you don't have really a big problem with people turning left on the bypass. It's
Right.
just turning right onto the
And I
interstate.
think the end result
Or
of this
onto Richmond
area
Center.
study is that we're going to be really evaluating what developments are going to be coming into the area, so we could plan out, come up with a game plan on what improvements to the roadways we'll be doing in the future, based on the timeline of the developments.
And that is a growth area. I mean, the county approved a zone change, if y'all remember, several months ago, out at John David Long's farm out there on
Barnes Mill.
on Barnes Mill. And so, not only is there city developments happening there in that area, but there's also some county development. So, all right.
I think I've been in some meetings with you, George Dean, Valley View Ferry. I was thinking, seen you a few times.
See, your memory's still good.
Yeah, it's
It's
good.
hard to forget that, though. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, yeah.
Shane, don't hold that comment against us. man.
Yeah.
I know where it comes from.
Yeah. It's coming from the heart, baby.
Do I need to say that into the mic?
All right, any other questions, any other comments? Great discussion. Appreciate everybody's involvement. We do have a motion and a second to approve resolution 2022-52. Call the roll.
Mr. Barger?
Yes.
Mr. Tudor?
Yes.
Mr. Bodkin?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. All right. Casey, do you all want to take a copy of this today? Or you want me to just email it to you?
You can just email it to
Okay.
me, just a
Yeah.
scan will be fine.
All right.
We're doing everything electronic. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you all. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
All right, next, Ms. Jennifer, good morning. Next, resolution 2022-53. This is the Bluegrass Chemical Activity Bluegrass Army Depot MOU.
Good morning, Judge. Good morning
morning.
to the court. A resolution approving signature of the updated Memorandum of Understanding, MOU, between Bluegrass Chemical Activity, BGCA, Bluegrass Army Depot, BGAD, Assembled Chemical Weapons Alternatives, AQUA, and Madison County, Kentucky. Whereas the Madison County Emergency Management Agency, EMA, participates in the CSEP program, and whereas the Madison County EMA CSEP program works closely with the Bluegrass Army Depot and the Bluegrass Chemical Activity to provide alert and warning from a chemical release at the Bluegrass Chemical Activity, and whereas the Madison County EMA CSEP program has a memorandum of understanding with the above-mentioned entities to provide guidance for a response in the unlikely event of a chemical release from the Bluegrass Chemical Activity. Now therefore be it resolved that the fiscal court does hereby approve to enter into this agreement and authorizes the judge executive and/or his designee to execute same on behalf of the county.
Thank you, Jennifer. Do I have a motion and a second to approve resolution 2022-53?
Judge, I'd like to make a motion to approve resolution 2022-53.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Judge, you know, we're in the last phase, I guess, of the destruction of the chemical weapons out there, starting up on the GBM 55 rockets. And 50% to go. We've got about another year and a half in there, and it's so important that we have these MOUs in place out there. So, you know, should there be, and God help that, but should there be any accidents out there, we've got a 5-minute notification to the county that we can alert citizens. So we definitely want to keep these in place, and we appreciate their willingness to work with us.
You know, I guess maybe the question I would ask is, what is the length of this memorandum of understanding?
I think they go for a year, don't they? We do this every year.
Yes, the MOU is, the memorandum of understanding is renewed each year.
Okay.
Typically, there aren't any changes. This year, there was one change where mustard was removed, where that has been completed.
Okay. Down, while we have them, I was just curious of the length
Yep.
that they're involved. Thank you.
And I think that's why, they do it for a year, because there are, you know, when you hit these, I guess, benchmarks, yeah, good
Milestones.
word, milestones.
Sure.
You know, things do change a little bit, but the relationship is still strong, you know.
Yeah, I was just curious. I saw no dates.
Yeah,
In it.
okay.
Jennifer, after the neutralization's all complete, I hope we can continue these yearly memorandums of agreement to be able to communicate and keep on the same page with each other, you know, as time moves forward, even though after the gas is all depleted out there, so.
Absolutely.
All right. Any more discussion? All right, we have a motion and a second to approve resolution 2022-53. Call the roll.
Mr. Tudor?
Yes.
Mr. Bodkin?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson?
Yes.
Mr. Barger?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. All right. Next is resolution 2022-54. This is the American Signal Corporation Siren Installation Contract Extension.
Resolution 2022-54, a resolution approving a contract extension for American Signal Corporation Mass Notification Solutions, ASC, for CSEP outdoor siren system whereas the Madison County CSEP program requires multiple systems to be able to alert the public in an emergency, and whereas the Madison County CSEP program has utilized an outdoor siren radio alert system before, and whereas the Madison County CSEP program outdoor siren replacement project was awarded to ASC with an anticipated completion date of May 1st, 2022, and whereas the supply chain challenges caused by the global pandemic has resulted in a delay in receiving raw material and equipment, so an extension is being requested to extend the contract with ASC until October 30th, 2022, and whereas a formal request from ASC has been received by the Madison County CSEP program, which is attached here to this resolution, now therefore be it resolved that the fiscal court does hereby approve this resolution and authorizes the judge executive and/or his designee to execute same on behalf of the county.
Thank you again, Jennifer. Do we have a motion and a second to approve Resolution 2022-54?
I move we approve, resolution 2022-54, Judge.
Thank you. Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Raj. Do we have any discussion?
Jennifer, do you see the, well, let me take it back. Are any of our sirens at this point degraded due to parts that you know of?
So we have a siren maintenance contract that we keep each year. We have repairs that we do as they occur. These sirens are getting some age on them, so the rate of repairs has increased significantly the last couple of years. And this is the replacement cycle for the siren system that's approved and funded by the CSEP program. So this should give us a new set of sirens to continue to alert the public in an emergency.
Jennifer, do you know if the siren at the end of Todd Lane was completely restored? It had some difficulties and some shortages in it. I understood there was some parts ordered. Do you know if it's completely back in operation now?
I would have to check to see if it was specifically the Todd Lane one, but I would be more than happy to bring that back to the court to let you guys know if that one is completed. I know they have completed different siren repairs in the last several weeks, but I would have to verify the location.
Okay, appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Any other discussion? All right, seeing none, call the roll.
Master Bodkin?
Yes.
Master Robinson?
Yes.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. All right, Jennifer, you're still up. Resolution 2022-55. This is our tower site up system replacement bid award.
Resolution 2022-55, a resolution awarding a bid for the uninterruptible power supplies for radio communication sites. Whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court is required to approve of all bids for projects in accordance with the Administrative Code. And whereas according to the Chemical Stockpile Emergency Preparedness Program, CSEP, it is time to replace the uninterruptible power supplies, UPSs, at all radio communication sites. And whereas the Madison County Emergency Management Agency, EMA, CSEP, has the funding to replace the current UPSs at these radio communication sites, and bids were requested for this replacement. And whereas the bid notice was properly posted, and whereas one bid was received within the specified time in the bid posting from Henderson Services LLC, and whereas a team from Mission Critical Partners and Madison County EMA CSEP have reviewed the bid, and whereas Madison County EMA CSEP wishes to award the bid and enter into a contract for the replacement of UPSs at our radio communication sites to Henderson Services LLC. Now therefore be it resolved that the fiscal court does hereby approve to enter into this agreement and authorizes the judge executive and or his designee to execute same on behalf of the county.
All right, do I have a motion and a second to approve Resolution 2022-55?
So moved.
Second.
So I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
What is the normal lifespan of a UPS system in these towns?
This UPS system is approximately 10 years old.
Okay.
Battery replacement for the UPSs themselves occur at a different cycle. But these were the original UPSs with the radio system installed.
Gotcha. And for those who kind of don't know what a UPS system is, could you explain it to them? I know what one is. And not confused
Absolutely.
about it. Yeah.
So the UPS, or the uninterruptible power supply, prevents the loss of power when there's a transfer from commercial power to generator power. So that ensures that there's no delay and no downtime in our responders' ability to communicate.
think it's also good, Judge, for the public to know that this is a $509,000 contract that's being awarded for these UPS systems that's being paid for by CSEP.
Yes. I thought it was 4.
I think it's also important to realize that at some point, post CSET,
Yes.
It's gonna go away.
that,
You betcha.
that federal funding's going away. So,
The next 4 years are gonna be critical.
very much so. All right, any other discussion? Seeing none, call the roll.
Pastor Robinson?
Yes.
Pastor Parker?
Yes.
Pastor Tudor?
Yes.
Pastor Buckin?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Appreciate it. Good work. Good job. Next, Resolution 2022-56. This is the adoption of our 2022-2023 health insurance renewal. Good morning, Morgan.
Good morning. I'm gonna wait a second and see if Chris is gonna get our PowerPoint pulled up. There we go, right on time. Alright, so we'll go through this first before I read the resolution. This is just a little overview for you guys on our health insurance and our carriers. I don't know if I have to tell him next page for him to go.
You know, you have to tell him everything.
You woke him up. You woke him up to get it up there.
Oh, he's got it.
thanks,
Okay, there
brother.
we go. So the main change that we are having this year, there's only 2 areas in our health insurance. So for our medical health insurance, we are making a change in the employer contribution. So this year it was $575 per employee per month, and that will be increasing to $600. Blue Mine, our cost will remain the same. Delta Dental, we will have a 2% cost increase, and we actually haven't had a change there since 2016, and in 2016 it was a 5% decrease, so everything's looking good there. Vision, we go through Guardian, that cost will remain the same. Basic Life, AD&D through One America, the cost will remain the same. Voluntary Life, One America, cost will remain the same. We are adding a flexible spending account for our employees, and that is going to be through BMS. And then we have our short-term disability through One America. The cost will remain the same. And then hospital indemnity, critical illness, and accident policies through Voya, the cost will all remain the same.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
I thought you said employee.
Employer.
Employer.
Employer
Okay, 'cause I
contribution.
knew that.
Yeah, there's no change in the cost.
It said employee, but I wanna
Yeah.
make sure it got.
We'll get to the breakdown on the next slide, but there's no
Okay.
cost change for employees. For our stop loss insurance, this time last year we had a 13% increase, and that's in our specific insurance, so that's in relation to catastrophic claims. This time this year we have had a 13% decrease, which is really good. For our aggregate insurance, so that's everything but the catastrophic claims, we had a 10% increase last year, and then this year we only have a 1% increase. Expected claims last year we had a 17% increase, and this year it's expected for a 6.5% decrease. Last year we had quite a few pretty big claims, so we're hoping that this year will be a little bit better of a year.
And cross our fingers, we're close to the end.
Yeah.
We got 2 months left. So.
Right, yeah. And then administrative fees for Tokyo Marine stop loss are staying the same. Okay, so this is just a breakdown of our employee cost for medical. Those are staying the same as they were last year, so no changes there. And then this is our new rates for Delta Dental with a 2% increase across the board. And so this is a comparison of the base plan for 2021, 2022, and then the buy-up plan of 2021, 2022 to 2022, 2023. And that is per paycheck, and our deductions are actually calculated out of 24 pay periods, so we have 26. Yeah. Any questions?
I don't have a question, but I've got a comment on this. I have always been a stickler on insurance and just making sure that our employees were able to get affordable, good insurance. And, I want to commend these guys and Bud Carr for, tell you, Judge, I had a lot of concerns when we went to the self-insured. We had a lot of discussions about that back when that happened. I was scared to death that was just going to be just terrible, but as it's turned out, it's been really good, this insurance program, and the fact that they're able to maintain and in some case decrease the cost on that is just phenomenal in this time and day when everything goes up. I don't care what it is, everything's up, but this, I mean, I'm just tickled to death about this insurance.
Well, and one good thing is we really have been smart since we started it. And part of these self-insured health plans, you know, you gotta take the good with the bad. I mean, that's just, it's part of it. So you're gonna have a bad year, but you save and you build your funds back up for 3 or 4, 5, 6 years, and then you'll have another bad year. And so, and that trend, we talked about this the other day, that trend's happened. You know, we did have a bad year last year, but we had several good years before that, and we're on target to have several good years in our future. So.
Well, the other thing that's hand in hand with this, Judge, too, and I talked to Glenn about this a little bit yesterday, is that it's so important. That's why it's so important down in our, you know, like down in the motor pool down there and the fire department and the different places that they conduct trainings down there, and safety trainings, and that they have the proper PPE and the things that they need to do their job down there. Accidents are gonna happen. I mean, that's just part of life. Accidents are gonna happen. But by doing those trainings down there, we can divert some of the cost and the things that do happen. Last year was a bad year for us, but we definitely, you know, we want to continue the training. And I know Scott and the chief back there, everybody is doing that, and it shows. It pays off when these things come up, and it's time to pay the bills, and we appreciate that.
Well, you know, a lot of that too goes to Morgan and her leadership as our HR coordinator, and you know, just that communications that she has with our department heads and our staff. You know, her and Glenn are working together with Blue Mine. I mean, those are things that really, those investments like Blue Mine and what all that they give to our employees, really, I think, goes for us having a successful self-insured plan too. And I don't know if you all want to talk a little bit about that, and were you planning on that? Well,
Yeah,
it's coming
on
up.
here.
It's coming up. Yeah, that's right. I'm getting ahead of myself.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, that Noose Lukens, of course, and Stephanie Parrish, they've been with us for years, and they do an incredible job. Like, they're the ones that introduced us to Blue Mine. They're always looking for cutting edge ways to reduce their costs.
Sure.
They bid out everything to try to get the lowest we can get. They do a great job.
And one thing I think it is appropriate to talk about is in the past, we've especially during COVID, we were doing all of our open enrollment for all of our renewal for our employees' insurance for the next year. We've been doing it online, but this year we're actually going to have an in-person. You can still do it online, but we feel like that with our team and our team having relationships with our employees, that we can really explain them more of our different options of plans. Do you want to hit on that a little bit?
Yeah, so this kind of actually comes from the engagement survey. Something as we went around to the departments to ask how they felt about things was that they all miss open enrollment. Some individuals don't have a great understanding of the plans that we offer and which plan suits them best. And so that was something that all of our departments said was going to be really valuable to them. So we are setting up a in-person open enrollment this year, and we are going to have different entities there like Blue Mine, like Kentucky Deferred Comp, people from Voya, anybody that is wants to come and can bring their spouse. That way they can make the most educated decision on their health insurance, and I think it's going to make a huge difference because right now people were just kind of doing it on their own and getting a feel for it, and so I think we have a lot of education to do for our employees.
And I think it was really good when we did the employee engagement survey. We went around to all the different departments and we talked about the survey, and we got a lot of feedback from them about health insurance, and they didn't really understand. You know, some folks were on the health savings account plan, the HSA, but really did not know anything about the HSA, and so. I'm really excited about having an in-person open enrollment this year, and I think it's really going to be good for all employees that are part of our health plan. You know, this goes beyond just fiscal court. Kenny's folks are part of that. Jenny, some of your folks are part of that, right?
So, 2 of them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then Sheriff, they are.
Mm-hmm.
We have our utility districts are.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's going to be really good. Plus, it's going to really give us an opportunity to educate about Blue Mine and really show the importance of that and the service that they provide, and basically free of charge to to our employees. So it's good. It's exciting. It's good stuff. So do you want to read the resolution,
Yeah.
please?
I'm
I'm sorry. Court members, is there any other questions about her presentation?
No, I mean, I think the presentation is good, it's informative, and I think it's nice that, you know, we've also tied in the employee surveys, and I think that, this is no slight on anybody, but we all can't be subject matter experts, when it comes to, our health insurance, and it's nice to, that this year we're gonna have the benefit of your team and others being able to explain it to them, to where, it's, they understand what it is, as opposed to maybe, me asking you about it, or my department head, or whatever the case may be, that, I'd rather them hear that information, kind of from the horse's mouth, and from our providers, so they make, wise health insurance decisions for them and their families. So, I think it's great.
And I think it's also important to mention that we research like other entities, other government entities, health insurance plan, and we've even looked at some of the private sector.
Sure.
And we really have a strong plan. When you compare it to what the benefit our employees get, to what other employees are getting in other entities, we really have a good plan. So we should all, on the court and our team, should be really proud of that.
Well, yeah, and I agree. And I mean, I think that we should look at it as, an asset of the county and an asset for our employees, who ultimately are using it. Because it's, when you look at, employment, it's kind of a, it's kind of a mixed bag out there. And there's lots of opportunities for, employees to go elsewhere, as we saw in the survey. I mean, when you have, 88% roughly, that are somewhat actively looking, for other employment, I think anything we can do, to strengthen benefits, strengthen pay, helps us retain and reduces the churn rate that we have of our employees that, be tough to lose.
With health insurance, one of the biggest costs most of us face now, other than gas prices. But, it's a recruiting tool. People come to jobs because they have good health insurance plans. And I think that's gonna help retain some of our employees and maybe recruit some new employees to come in because, the astronomical cost of health insurance, like everything else, is just continuing to increase. So.
And John, that's one of the reasons we added that flexible spending account. Essentially what that is, it's kind of like an HSA, but it's gonna be used for dependent care, so child care. And of course that is, tax-free, so you get a little discount.
I was gonna ask you to explain that a little bit, thank you.
Yeah. That's a huge expense to a lot of our employees, that have children. And so, we kind of asked around about, expenses of, daycare, and it is very costly, to many of our employees, so we'll hope that'll help them out quite a bit.
Good.
Thank you.
It's good. All right,
Okay.
you want to read the
Yep.
problem? So we have resolution 2022-56.
This is a resolution to adopt 2022-2023 health insurance renewal rates and carriers, whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court has established a voluntary insurance plan to benefit full-time employees, and whereas the insurance rates are updated annually, and whereas it is the role of the Fiscal Court to determine the rate of the employer portion of the health and life insurance and to select vendors for optional policies to offer said employees. Now therefore be it resolved that the Fiscal Court does hereby approve to adopt 2022-2023 health insurance renewal rates and carriers as follows. Health insurance, United Healthcare through United Medical Resources, UMR, at the rate of $600 per Fiscal Court employee per month. Basic Life AD&D through One America not to exceed $525 per Fiscal Court employee per month. Benefit Marketing Solutions Flexible Spending Account. Dental, Delta Dental, Vision, Guardian, Voluntary Life, One America, Short-Term Disability, One America, Hospital Indemnity, Critical Illness and Accident Policies, VOIA, Primary Care Option, Blue Mind Clinic. Be it further resolved that the Fiscal Court does hereby approve this resolution and authorizes the County Judge Executive and/or his designee to execute same on behalf of the county.
Thank you, Morgan. Do I have a motion and a second to approve resolution 2022-56?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion?
Morgan, on the basic life, is that 25,000? What is it?
Yes.
Okay.
Any other discussion? All right, seeing none, call the roll, please.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Master Buckin?
Yes.
Master Robinson?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Thank you, Morgan.
Judge, before you move on, I just
Sure.
want to say one thing. You know, the insurance thing here, this is fantastic. But I want to just add something. You know, if you remember, just a few short years ago, that all this was piled on top of Glenna. And Glenna, you did a good job. You did the best you could with it. And I mean, but I'm gonna tell you, when we created the HR department, I mean, first is Rachel, and now we've got, I mean, things are so much better. And I mean,
Yes.
the detail that goes along with that.
I love Morgan. She does a great job.
We certainly appreciate everything that you're doing for our people. Thank you.
It's a team effort, right, guys?
It absolutely
is.
is.
It absolutely
is.
Absolutely.
I mean, HR and finance, treasurer, you know, they do work hand in hand on a lot of stuff, so.
Every day.
It's great, great team.
I think some of Glenna's gray hair went away. It's coming back.
Thank you, Tom. Might be a little color there.
I won't tell you secrets.
Thank you all. Good comments, Tom. Appreciate it. Next is Resolution 2022-57. This is Madison County Temporary Circuit Courthouse Renovation Bid Award. I'll read the resolution, then we have Jeff Edwards with us from D.W. Wilburn here that he'll be able to present or ask any, or answer any questions that the fiscal court may have. A resolution for the Madison County Fiscal Court to approve the Madison County Temporary Circuit Courthouse Renovation Bid Awards. Whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court is required to approve all bids in accordance with Administrative Code and KRS 424.260. And whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court, in collaboration with D.W. Wilburn, Inc., Construction Manager at Risk, placed this project out to bid, which consisted of 9 bid categories. And whereas the bid notice was properly posted and all bids have been opened and reviewed, and whereas the Administrative Office of the Courts, also known as the AOC, has agreed with the total cost of the temporary circuit courthouse renovation project of $1,209,816 and recommends awarding the low project bids as follows. Bid package 1, which is casework to Atlas, for a total bid of $34,850. Bid package 2, which is drywall ceilings, to Wilder, $123,086. Bid package 3, ceramic, which is Ray Tramatine for $9,600. Bid package 4 is flooring to Wilder for $18,000. Bid package 5 is paint to True Colors, $19,000. Bid package 6 is sprinkler to Quality Fire for $23,250. Bid package 7 is HVAC plumbing, Davison Plumbing for $340,530. Bid package 8 is electric to Dixon Electric for $273,000. And bid package 9, general trades to D.W. Wilburn Inc. for $368,500, which is a total of $1,209,816. Whereas the Madison County Temporary Circuit Courthouse renovation bid results are attached here to this resolution. Now therefore be it resolved that the fiscal court does hereby approve this resolution and authorizes the judge executive and or his designee to execute same on behalf of the county.
Motion to approve resolution 2022-57, Judge.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All right, do we have any discussion? And Jeff, if you want to step up to the mic, do we have any questions about the bids?
My only question, Jeff, is when you look at the bid results and the low bidders and whatever, can you explain to me the alternate numbers that were added in?
Okay, so in the back of the facility, we put alternate, the architect and the engineering team put alternates in there for a new sewer line. It's gonna come out of the back of the facility, tie back into the existing sewer main that runs behind the facility.
Okay,
And that's where that comes from.
okay. And same with the electric as well, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
You need any recap or anything, Judge?
If any court members have questions, this is really the breakdown of all bids, and you can see, well, Jeff, go ahead. If you want to just kind of explain how you all color coordinate this a little bit, just for the court's awareness.
Okay, so as the judge stated, we built the bid packages as well as working with Integrity Architects on the job. And when we advertised, we also called out to all our subs to get, plenty of prices and plenty of quotes coming in to keep it competitive. We tried to get at least 3 quotes per bid package, but in some instances, as you see, we got 1 or 2 bids. But because they thought they had more competition, they kept the bids pretty competitive, as you see with the single casework bids, only $34,000. That was right on our budget. When we created our budget, we created it a year ago, and we got within 15% or less of what we thought our real numbers were. And that includes what we've dealt with all the inflation and what's going on in the construction business as well. So we feel like we give you a decent number moving forward, and we can hit it and get this project started and get ready to work on this courthouse here late this fall.
And part of that increase too was some of the stuff the AOC requires for its jabs,
Yes.
correct?
Yeah, so when we gave our original estimate last July, which is almost a year ago, there's been some more additive options that all the judges and the AOC wanted. The AOC's package for their jabs and their security was not part of the bid at all, or a quote, and those numbers there almost came in at $96,000 just to do their portion of the work that they need for security purposes. So when you add those numbers in, we actually done better than we almost hit our budget. Another thing that we did for you folks when we put our packages out, due to the turmoil and what's going on in the construction business, we asked all our subs to give lead times for their materials so we could project when we could get the job ended for you guys, so we could look at transitioning into this space late this winter or fall. And the hostility in the environment right now for a lot of new stuff has went from a normal time frame of 8 weeks to 20 weeks to 8 months to 12 months to 15 months. So we put all that in our organization and get a good plan so we can execute the work. And if we get approval on moving forward on this, our time frame right now is to be done by Halloween, first of Thanksgiving, or between Halloween and Thanksgiving. They can transition over, all you folks can transition over, and we'll look at bidding this project out in the fall and try to get out in front of those deadlines on our material dates to have a decent project on this side of the street. That's what we're looking at, just to give you a little information here.
It's good stuff.
So this work is going to be done on the first floor of the Chase building, is that correct?
Yeah, well, it's first floor and second floor. So the first floor, they're going to utilize as much of stuff that's there that they can.
Right.
But they're basically the whole first floor is going to be renovated. There's a portion upstairs on the rear end of the old Chase Bank building that'll be the judges' chambers, their offices, their staff.
Well, we will touch pretty much the entire facility. You're getting some new rooftop equipment that will function for the facility, and then we'll also have some work in the basement. But as you put new infrastructure in the facility, we'll be on all floors as we wire and plumbing and this, that, and the other as we go forward before we start putting back.
There's a lot of good improvements that's
I
going
think
to happen.
it's important to know, Judge, because this is a building that we paid $750,000 for a couple of years ago, and that now that the courts have agreed to pay $1.2 million to basically renovate that space for their use. That's still our building. And so
You're going to
I think
get
that needs to be-
all new electrical wiring, new guts and that, and you'll have all new Cat 6 fiber for your communications.
Awesome.
And there's some of the existing units, the HVAC will be looked at to see if they can be updated. If not, we'll move on from there. And then you're getting a new floor plan for the building needs and the judges' needs.
Good. Good deal.
And just note as well that just to make it clear to you all, the Chase Bank building, the temporary space is a county project. This courthouse renovation will actually be an AOC capital project. And the county on the temporary space, all this expense will be reimbursed for the construction back to the county. Plus that there'll be a lease agreement with the AOC for them renting that on a monthly basis. So just for y'all, this is one of many steps to get this project going. I'm working on all the language and the leases and all that stuff with the AOC right now, and I'm hoping that we'll have it for next court, just for y'all's knowledge.
And as the judge said, on the 8th of April, the AOC did agree with all the numbers, and they thought that bids came in very comfortably versus the Austin market that we're dealing with right now.
Yeah. Everybody was very pleased. So,
Which also ultimately turns into a $12 million renovation of this building.
Or more, unfortunately.
yeah.
Judge, you just might want to mention that this is all because the AOC has awarded Madison and Clark County an extra circuit court, and we needed room here in Madison County to run 2 courts at one time, so this building's gonna turn into a double courtroom here.
Yeah, the plans for this facility and what they add on is, this will be a major upgrade to this facility, and I think you folks are well deserving of it versus what I can see with all the activity here. So I think it's much needed, and I'm sure you'll be looking forward to it once we get there.
Thank you for your work.
Yeah,
It's been a long time coming, I have to say. We've been working on this for several years now, so it's great.
I only have one quick question. When you look at the, when you look at the bids and when you look at some of the deltas between, bid amounts, are you confident with the subs that you have that they can meet, that budget number that they've put out there? And the one that kind of jumps off the page at me is obviously the HVAC and plumbing, where you see, the awarded of Davis and Pomlin of $340,000 versus, I guess, Freya Mechanical of $740,000. I mean, that's a pretty big delta.
That's a pretty good jump. I'll get to that in a second. Everybody that we have highlighted, I personally have been with Wilburn for 30 years, and most of these folks I've got anywhere from a 15 to 20 year relationship with.
Okay.
Wilder here, as you know, is at local. True Colors is out of London. It's my hometown. And we've got a handful of commercial. Davison Plumbing, Dixon is out of Lexington. Excuse me, they do a lot of projects with us, and Quality Fire has too. Ray Trematine, they've done a bunch of work for us on Eastern's campus. They've recently done the dorms with us, and we built the 2 new dorms for EKU. As far as your question, sir, that was Fry Mechanical. I don't know what happened there. I think Fry, they took the job off. They asked several questions during the process, but we believe that at the end of the day, they just didn't want the thing, and they threw an astronomical number to it.
Okay.
Foster Mechanical is right behind them with $36,000.
Yeah.
And CNC Industry, they pulled their bid the day after the bid, but their number was like, they had a $9,000 alternate price, and they got scared of it. They thought they had a bad number when they seen the results come in on the alternates. But CNC Industrial actually beat Davidson Plumbing like $10,000 on the low bid. I didn't publish that number because they withdrew their bid.
I got it.
But Davison Plumbing, sir, is a very good, confident company. John Plumbing is the owner. He's built a good, reputable company, and they have their own design engineers. So they're going to be very helpful moving forward as we on the design, in case we have some issues or shortcomings in the design of the engineer side. And you won't see any reflection of those numbers if we have to change something up, because these folks, they're very confident in what they do.
Yeah, and I appreciate the whys.
Yeah.
Because when I look at, all the other ones, the deltas between are not that much. I mean, they're pretty small, and, it's a pretty close pattern.
Yeah.
But this is the one that, that kind of jumps off the page at you when you read down through it.
Bobby Foster Mechanical was real close. They was nervous about the alternate because they didn't come to the pre-bid. I didn't speak of that. On the 21st, we had a pre-bid for all bidders to come to the job site if they want to look at and get familiar with the site prior to the bid going off. But very confident in what we have there in the mechanical bid.
Yeah, well, and I appreciate that, and my question wasn't to doubt, what these folks can do that, yes, are the low bidders.
Yeah, I understand.
I just wanted to,
Well, you need to be
for
feel
clarification,
Yeah,
right.
clarification and feel more comfortable.
I was sitting right over there in that second pew on the day of the bid openings, and I was actually had my sheet and I was writing down all the bids. And I had the same feeling when they read out that bid, and there was that big gap. I said, "Man, something happened
Yeah,
here."
he spoke about that there after the bid. He was a little nervous about it too, but that was just a bad bid. Those folks are pretty busy.
Sure.
And for whatever reason, they're out of Somerset, and they took a big note working in the Louisville metro area.
Okay.
And they've got a lot of work up there, so I don't think they could hit our deadline. Because like I said, if we start today, we're going to be in October, so this thing is going to be we won't rush to the end results, but we're going to push it through so we can get to here and do this project.
And how confident are you on, your completion dates of somewhere around, Halloween, Thanksgiving?
No, we feel good about it. I could do it quicker if if it's not for the vital parts of getting the components.
Right.
Supply
This
chain.
job.
Supply chain's an issue.
Yeah, this job here, I could probably do, if I had all the components in this room, I could do this job in 3 months or less. But unfortunately, we gotta wait 3 months for a lot of the components.
Gotcha.
Yes,
Gotcha.
sir.
I appreciate the explanation.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Glad
Jim.
I'm the only one, Judge.
No, you're good, buddy. You're great. Anything else from court members? All right, seeing none. Jeff, thank you. Call roll. Clerk
Master
Martin.
Tudor,
Yes.
Master Bakker,
Yes.
Master Robinson,
Yes.
Master Berger,
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. All right, next resolution. Let me get my eyes working. Resolution 2022-58. This is the county clerk's motor vehicle and boat bills claim. A resolution authorizing payment for Madison County Clerk's claim for calculation of motor vehicle and boat bills for 2022. Excuse me. Whereas Madison County, Kentucky has 97,230 motor vehicle and boat accounts as of January 1st, 2022. And whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court shall pay the county clerk 15 cents for the calculation of a tax bill for each account. And whereas the total claim to be paid by the Madison County Fiscal Court is $14,584.50. Now therefore be it resolved that the Fiscal Court does hereby approve this resolution and authorizes the judge executive and or his designee to execute same on behalf of the county. I need a motion and second to approve resolution 2022-58.
So moved.
Second.
Do we have any discussion?
Yeah,
All right.
I'm shocked with the 97 number. It goes up,
Yeah.
5,000-6,000 a year.
Yep, it does.
That's
We're
a
growing.
vehicle or a boat for everybody. in
Every
Madison
resident, I was
Yeah.
thinking.
It
about
is.
that.
No, it's more than one.
It's more than one, yeah. Yeah, it's more than
Every
one.
man, woman, and child got their own vehicle
Yeah.
or boat.
All right, call the roll.
Master Bakker,
Yes.
Master Robinson,
Yes.
Master Berger,
Yes.
Master Tudor,
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. Thank you all. Resolution 2022-59. This is God's Outreach CDBG project. Glenna.
Yes. A resolution authorizing payment for the God's Outreach Madison County Food Bank Project. Madison County has been awarded Community Development Block Grant funds from the Commonwealth of Kentucky in the amount of $1 million. And whereas the expenditures of all CDBG funds are in compliance with the Kentucky CDBG Handbook, financial management policies, and applicable OMB circulars. Now therefore be it resolved, Madison County, as the recipient of CDBG program funds by signature of County Judge Executive Reagan Taylor, approves the following debts to be paid in full upon receipt of the CDBG funds as drawn down from the Kentucky Department for Local Government or other payments that may be requested from other sources. Acquisition of the property located at 950 4 Mile Avenue, Richmond, Kentucky. CDBG cost is $250,000. Be it further resolved that all expenditures have been documented and recorded and are authorized for drawdown from the Commonwealth of Kentucky in compliance with all state, federal, and local regulations.
Thank you, Glenna. Do I have a motion and second to approve resolution 2022-59?
Judge, I'd like to make a motion to approve resolution 2022-59.
Second.
Have a motion and second. Do we have any discussion?
Judge, this is the community block grant approval that we did for the God's Outreach distribution center that they're building out on 4 Mile Avenue.
Yep.
And we're just the overseer of those funds that pass through from the
From DLG. I mean, that's
DLG.
where the CDBG
Yeah.
comes out of.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So that's all we're doing here.
Yes.
Yep. All right.
Basically just the first draw on those funds.
It is. Yeah. All right. Any other questions? Any comments? Seeing none, call the roll.
Master Robinson,
Yes.
Master Berger,
Yes.
Master Tudor,
Yes.
Master Bakker.
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. Next, resolution 2022-60, Alternative Health Solutions LLC Care Center Services Agreement, also known as Blue Mine. Morgan.
This is Resolution 2022-60, a resolution to enter into a Care Center Services Agreement by and between Alternative Health Solutions LLC and Madison County Fiscal Court. Whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court has decided to offer its employees professional health care and wellness services at care centers operated at one or more locations, And whereas Alternative Health Solutions LLC has agreed to employ professional healthcare providers properly licensed in the state of Kentucky to operate and administer shared healthcare centers operated from time to time in the state of Kentucky and Indiana for eligible employees, spouse, and dependents of MCFC, assessing, diagnosing, charting, planning, counseling, and providing patient care under the authority of a collaborating physician. And whereas MCFC has agreed to contract with Alternative Health Solutions LLC to provide the clinical services and wellness programs as hereinafter described as at the Care Center, and whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court desires to enter into the Care Center Services Agreement attached hereto this resolution. Now therefore be it resolved that the Fiscal Court does hereby approve to enter into this agreement and authorizes the Judge Executive and or his designee to execute same on behalf of the county to go into effect July 1, 2022.
Motion to approve resolution 2022-60, Judge.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Thank you all both. Do we have any discussion?
So I had some concerns and some questions yesterday about paragraph number 7 in here, and that deals with a non-compete agreement of employees. And after making some phone calls yesterday to some medical administrators and also to some nurses and talking to them, that seems to be a standard practice. I just had concerns about limiting the ability of not necessarily the county, because we don't have nurses for the county. I was more concerned about the issues that might happen over in the jail should they need people. But this appears to be a standard practice through the medical community, so I'm all right.
Yep. Good. Thanks for doing your research, Tom. It's good. Anybody else? Well, just talking about Blue Mine, I know we know it as Blue Mine, but obviously this is the LLC group that owns Blue Mine. But Blue Mine is really, I think, a good thing. We talked about it a little bit earlier. I think it really goes hand in hand with our self-insured plan, and we just got to keep marketing it and letting the employees understand really what it means. And many more are already using it. I know Glenna is a big marketer of it, right? I mean, she loves it. I mean, when we were talking to employees, I mean, she's telling her experiences and how good it is. I've been there. It really is a good resource, and it does not cost our employees anything. So it really is good. So one of the things I'm excited about the open enrollment and doing it in person is it's one thing we're going to hit really hard on, is making sure that our employees, and not forcing them, but by no means. I mean, because you get comfortable with your doctors and you want to go to certain people, we totally get that. But for just your common colds and some of those things that just happen on an annual basis, I mean, it really is a good thing. So.
Yeah, and aside from just primary care, we also go through them for DOT physicals. So the road department goes to them annually, and then the fire department does their physicals there as well. So we also use them aside from just primary care for occupational health and safety.
Yep.
Are they still over on the
Boggs Lane?
Boggs Lane?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Now they do have other locations as well, and our employees can go to those other locations. So if you're in Louisville for a conference and come down with a sinus infection, you can go over to Blue Mine.
Morgan, do they do drug testing also?
They do.
Okay.
We actually go through Baptist Health ACMED for our drug testing, but they do conduct screenings as well.
Yep. All right. Good stuff. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, call the roll, please.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Master Biken?
Yes.
Master Robinson?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Thank you, Morgan. Appreciate it. Appreciate all you do. All right, moving on. Judges report. So, got a few recognitions today, and really I want to recognize two of our partner agencies that I always am very proud of. I'm glad to call them colleagues. I'm proud of their dedication, but I want to take a moment to recognize our detention center and our sheriff's department staff for their hard work and dedication. They have endured some very challenging circumstances in the past year and even in the past few months. It takes special individuals to work law enforcement and corrections, and I'm grateful that we have people willing to take on those roles. We appreciate each member of both these teams, and thank you for serving and protecting our community. We often forget that sometimes you are the first to arrive on a very, very bad scene, or the ones dealing with incarcerating people who have committed very serious crimes. And I just want to thank you and I want to thank you for your all service to our community. So,
Thank you, Judge.
all right.
Appreciate it.
All right, another one that I'm very proud of, and I know this is really on my judge's report, but I just want to recognize her because this is her last fiscal court meeting. And I hope it's not your last fiscal court meeting, but it'll be your last fiscal court meeting with the Richmond Register. And I'm very proud of you, and I've grown very fond of you, and thank you for all your assistance and communication, and continuing to get our truthful message out. That the Madison County Fiscal Court has done and this administration has done for the Madison County taxpayers and citizens. And I wish you nothing but the best. You're a rock star, and I'm proud of you, and I look forward to seeing you shine in the future and with the Lexington Herald.
You mean we're gonna have to break another one?
Oh,
Actually, it's
and-
you're talking about.
I'm sorry, I'm looking at her. Everybody watching. It's Taylor 6. Taylor 6, everybody. But I thank you. And you know the mic is always yours if you want it.
I will just say one.
Okay.
Thank you for that, and just want to thank you all, everyone. I've had the pleasure of working with, all of you in this room at some point, and I couldn't have done it without you all and your patience. And I know I haven't made everyone happy in my 3 years of doing what I do, but I still just want to thank you guys for everything you all do and for helping me explain every single thing that I've asked. So thank you again.
Good luck in the future.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
I also want to recognize a fiscal court member because it is his birthday today. And, 40 never felt as
Never
good as it
looked any
did.
better.
Never looked any better. That's right. That's exactly right.
You gotta say which one.
John Tudor. John Tudor, sorry. Everybody knew who I was talking about. Just a few announcements. Also, it's a busy time. There's a lot of, obviously coming out of COVID. We always still want to be cautious, but there's a lot of community events going on. And we have so many great nonprofits and organizations that really bring a great quality of life to our community. So I want to announce some of these events coming up. So we are going to be doing we're with the Soil Conservation District. We'll be planting a tree at Kirksville Park to celebrate Arbor Day. That's this Friday for anybody that would like to come, any of our elected officials, magistrates. That'll be this Friday, April the 29th at 2 p.m. So we will be planting a tree out at our Kirksville Park, which is back behind the Kirksville Community Center there. Again, that's April the 29th. That'll be this Friday at 2 p.m. This Saturday, April 30th, there's a Young Eagles food truck fly that will be from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Central Kentucky Regional Airport. Many of our board members and people that are part of our Central Kentucky Airport will be actually giving flights to, I think it's up to 18. Is that right, Steve? Mm-hmm. So anybody under 18 that would like to get a flight, they'll take you up in one of our airplanes that are out there. EKU is a partner with that. They are our FBO out there, and it's always a great event. It really is. So, what have I messed up?
17?
Can you be 17?
John gets to be 40 when I get to be 17.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you can be 17. Yeah, I got you. I thought y'all were calling me out for saying something wrong again. Yeah. So the event actually goes from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. And so in the past, they'll have a desk there that you can sign up if you have kids that would like to go up, and you just sign up and they'll.
That's a good
Be a
event,
lot of
Judge, too,
static
because
displays also, Judge, a lot of really neat aircraft.
Okay.
you can see some of the eastern plains,
Yeah.
and they normally have music and food and different things.
And you also probably from this time last year, you'll see some of the improvements to the airport.
Oh, much.
Some of the aprons
Yeah.
and some of the T hangers that we've actually built out there and stuff. So yeah, it's good stuff. Let's see, a couple more events. We have a Hospice Care Plus will be hosting their annual Bourbon Boots and Barbecue Derby Eve Party. That'll be on Friday, May the 6th. That'll be at the Madison County Fairgrounds beginning at 6 p.m. If you're interested in attending that event, please call Hospice Care Plus for your reservations. And reservations need to be called in by April the 29th. Richmond Area Arts Council will be hosting their Derby Brunch at Linwood on Saturday, May the 7th, beginning at 10:30 a.m. at Linwood Estate on Lexington Road across from Arlington. Please contact the Richmond Area Arts Council for required tickets. There will be a Kites Away event on Saturday, May 7th as well from 12 to 2 at Berea Skate Park and Football Field. It is recommended to bring your own kite, and if you need any information, contact Berea Parks and Recreation at 986-9402. So we have some commencements coming up. Berea Colleges will be on Sunday, May the 8th, beginning at 2 p.m. at the Seabury Arena. Parking may be limited. Please be mindful of heavier traffic in the Berea area that day. So again, that's Sunday, May the 8th. And then EKU's commencement will be Friday, May 13th. Please see EKU's website for exact ceremony times and locations. Again, please be mindful in the Richmond EKU bypass for heavier traffic. The National Association of Letter Carriers will be having their annual Stamp Out Hunger Food Drive on Saturday, May 14th. You can leave non-perishable food items by your mailbox that day, and they'll take care of the rest. So remember, that is on May the 14th. That'll be Saturday. Berea Chamber of Commerce and the Kentucky National Guard are hosting a Fiscal Training Ukraine fundraiser on Saturday, May the 21st, beginning at 9 a.m. at Madison Southern High School. Contact the Berea Chamber of Commerce for more information. I know that was a long report, but I really appreciate y'all listening, and a lot of fun activities coming up. Comments from magistrates? I think I started with you last time, didn't I? I'll start with Tom today.
Start with Tom today.
Yeah, Judge, I just got, well, I really don't have anything to say, just to be honest with you. I just want to take the opportunity, I know it's not the place, but I'm making it the place. I want to take the opportunity just to say thank you to the court and everybody that took the time to send a card or call or text. It's been I'm 2 weeks behind. I'm saying all this to say this. I'm 2 weeks behind in phone calls and emails and letters, but you know, sometimes things are more important than this. And I took all that extra time to spend with my brother.
Yeah.
So, just want to say thank you.
Appreciate you, man. Your mom was a good woman,
You bet.
you know, and you did the right thing by being by her side. So you've been our thoughts and prayers for sure. So
If you need me, you can reach me at 200-9765.
yeah.
Thank you, Judge.
Thanks, Tom. John.
He's back.
Yeah.
I've got quite a few things to mention here today. I'm glad you mentioned the food drive that the Postal Service puts on every year. I was a mail carrier for 34 years, and I love to see a mailbox full of canned goods are hanging on the side that we'd take back in, and they would take them to a collection center. And I don't remember how many tons, but it was tons that we would gather every year and help feed the needy. And that's a good service. So please put 2 or 3 cans out in your mailbox. Your mail carrier would love to see it. It doesn't put an extra burden on him, but he's glad to see it and glad to do that for the community. Judge, we had a tragic fatality in District 3 this past week on Oakley Wells Road. We lost a young man, only 17 years old, Eddie Tribble, and be with, keep his family in your prayers and thoughts. It was just a tragic accident that happened in a bad curve, and there's really no way to fix this road where this curve happened. You could say it was speed, you could say it was loose gravel. There's a lot of things that could have happened, but it turned the vehicle over and was fatally injured. So we need to remember the Tribble family. Got information this week that the Waco Volunteer Fire Department was called out one evening for a stranded boat at the College Hill on the river. They ran out of gas and had no way to get back to shore. And just thank the College Hill Fire Department Rescue that went out and towed them back to shore to safety. There's some blacktopping going on in the 3rd District. I was out yesterday on Oakley Wells Road. We've got that road about halfway blacktop through this year. Maybe next year or the next we can finish that. That's a pretty big project. We did about 3 miles on it this year, so $58,000 a mile. That adds up pretty quick. Yep. So, and I did receive a call on that road while blacktop was in progress. a gentleman said that they'd left quite a bit of a hole in front of his mailbox. It was gonna make it difficult to, for the mail carrier and for him to reach his mailbox. I went out and talked to the engineer, the supervisor on the job. He said he would take care of it today. So hopefully that will, and he said any other holes in front of boxes that, which gonna make it difficult, he was willing to patch those today. So I appreciate Allen Construction working with us on that. Griggs Road just received a new coat of blacktop this past week, and it looks like Cruise Lane should be coming up soon if they haven't done it in the last day or two. So that's all I got, Judge.
Thanks, John. Raj?
Had a few roads that got repaired or blacktop. Appreciate that, what we can get. Whitehall Park, drove down there last weekend and we counted over 50 cars in the parking lot. And sad to say, there was probably 8 or 10 parked on the grass that needed to be in spaces, and there were still spaces left. Some of them just don't want to walk that far to go to fish, I guess. But a good crowd down there. Looked like everybody's enjoying it, and of course it was a good weekend too. So everybody's getting out. I'm going to leave everybody alone, not pick on anybody today. Y'all hold that off for another meeting. That's all I got.
Thanks, Rod. Appreciate you. Ben?
Yeah, real quick, I'll try to be brief. You know, today's meeting kind of felt like, you know, a meeting that we have prior to a big holiday, or, you know, like the end of the year for Christmas, because there was, you know, lots of stuff on the agenda and lots of great stuff. And it's always nice to see, you know, the things, the great things that we do in this county, whether it's, you know, whether it's the memorandum of understandings we have with Bluegrass Army Depot, or whether it's getting the UPS systems into the sirens that we have, and the recognition of the nurses and small businesses and all that kind of stuff. But, you know, it's funny, I had a conversation with Taylor last week, and, you know, when you boil it all down, sometimes, again, it comes back to roads. And it was nice to have, you know, the folks from the state here to go over their plan and what their vision is to, you know, improve the roads that we have in Madison County. And, you know, let's also don't forget about, you know, other forms of infrastructure that we have. I know that we have, you know, a third-party group that's out there looking at broadband. I spent some time out in the southeastern portion of the county in Red Lick, and, you know, those folks would love to see improvements in the broadband. I talked to one particular person who, you know, works remotely, but given the broadband strength that they have with their current provider, she lost some jobs because she could not do the, you know, the conferencing, the video conferencing needed, you know, for that particular position of working remotely. So I hope that, and I believe that we are serious about making sure that when we think of infrastructure, yes, I get the roads, I get the bridges, I get all that stuff, but let's also remember that, you know, broadband is another, in my opinion, is infrastructure as well, and we shouldn't forget about it. While we're in Taylor, I wish you the best of luck in your upcoming position with the Lexington Herald Leader. I think you'll do a fine job. You've done a great job at the Richmond Register, and it's I don't know if, you know, I've read some of the stuff that I've read a lot of your stuff, from whether it's Berea Planning and Zoning to here to whatever, and I can always say that when I read your articles, I felt like that you were fair and honest in your opinions and what was decided on, discussed, or what have you. So you never made me mad because I always felt like it was an honest representation of what went on. Real quick on the while we're talking about infrastructure, again, let me circle back around to Barker Lane East and the bridge that's going to be fixed there. That should be fixed in roughly, I think they're going to start on maybe now in 4 weeks, because I talked to them maybe a week or two ago. And for those folks out there on Barker Lane East, I got the impression that it's going to take them roughly 3 to 4 days. You know, 1 day in demo, 1 day to put the slabs down and get everything ready. So be patient. It's going to be a great improvement, and I'm glad to see that we're getting it done. But that's all I have. And also one shout out also to the road department again for the work they did out in Wolf Gap. That road is at some point in need of some paving, and we put some Band-Aids, you know, out there and did some, you know, pothole fixing and resurfacing here and there. And think it looks a lot better, but, you know, I would assume that, we need to look at that one at some point. And always shout out to our jailer. I appreciate the work that you all do there, and also you, Chef Coyle. Thank you for you and your folks, and Chief Fire, thank you. I appreciate what you all do. That's it.
Thanks, Ben.
You're welcome.
Kenny, do you have anything?
Yeah, we'll mention, primary's coming up. We're doing logic and accuracy testing today, getting the equipment set up. And this is gonna be a very different election from what we've had in the past. 7 locations on election day, 3 locations for early voting Thursday through Saturday. And those aren't gonna be at schools. We have left schools. They're not great locations, not a lot of parking, a lot of walking from the parking. We've tried to make these fine locations that are, convenient, spread out throughout the county, easy to get in and out of, and plenty of parking. So we're starting to get phone calls right now about where those locations are, and that's fine. But there's 70+ thousand voters in Madison County, and there's 4 people answering the phone, so we can't take a phone call from every voter. Yeah, all that information is on our website, MadisonCountyClerk.us. I don't hear Chris yelling at me. I think that's right. I don't Google my website much. And,
Maybe you should.
and govote.ky.gov. The locations are all on there. We're gonna be hitting the newspaper, we're gonna be hitting the radio. We usually try to wait a little closer to elections, so people don't forget in between. We don't want to tell them too early and then not follow through, but I really appreciate this court, Board of Elections, the folks I get to work with in my office every day. I was telling Ben before court, we're gonna run the most secure, most efficient, and most convenient election that's ever been run in this county, this primary. I'm really, really proud of, did I say Board of Elections? I didn't want to leave
Yeah,
that.
you did.
Yeah, and can you explain that,
Yeah,
Kenny?
about the convenience.
Okay,
Talk
yeah,
about
I
the
mean,
convenience,
so,
please.
so on, the early voting days or on election day, you can go vote at any location, anywhere in the county. So if you're driving down the road, you see one of our feather flags out there that says vote here, pull in there and vote. Doesn't matter where you live. And we're able to do that through the technology that we've worked with State Board of Elections to try to bring on, like the electronic poll books, things like that. That's just, to me, I understand that why laws were made when they were made and why it had to be that way, but people are not sedentary. They're not in their precinct all day on election day. They're all over the county or all over central Kentucky. And this makes it so much easier for people to be able to get to the polls and vote at a time they can, not just on election day, but just on the 3 days now that we've got to vote early. And those early voting days will be 8 to 4 o'clock. And it's here, I'll give the early since there's 7 of those, but the early voting locations are here, the extension office out on Duncannon, and Folk Center in Berea. 8 to 4 o'clock. Anywhere, if
There's 7, right, on election day.
7 on election day.
Yep.
And there's too long a list, and I'll leave one out if I try, but,
Yep.
but like I say, we'll be doing all we can to get this out. It's already on Facebook. If you see it on Facebook, if you're not a
Sure.
friend of our page, please share it, so we get it spread as far and wide as possible. And it's new. It's very different than what we've done before.
And I think it's important too, Kenny, real quick, just to help educate, who makes that decision while all that happens?
Which decision?
Makes the decision of where you're gonna vote.
Oh, the Board of Elections. Yeah,
That's right. We have a local board.
We have a local Board of Elections. There's a representative picked by the Democratic Party of the county, representative picked by the Republican Party. Sheriff normally serves on the Board of Elections, but he has appointed someone because he's by statute not allowed to serve on the Board of Elections. And then I'm chair of the Board of Elections. I've had an excellent Board of Elections since I've been in office, but our staff does the majority of the work. But it's under the operation of the Board of Elections. Yeah, it's not just me making decisions about how it should be.
Yeah, I had wanted you to explain that, because I had that question last night at an event I was at. Again, it's part of our job is to educate people, understanding how it works, so.
And we are, we're throwing everything we have at this one. We expected absentee to be heavy. It has not been. It's gone right back to normal, in line with where it has been before the pandemic. This is the first time we've had early voting. So we're throwing everything we can at that. we only have so much resource we can spread around, but, you know, we will measure everything about this election from, you know, how many people vote in each location, the times, that kind of thing. We can move those early election day voting times around. We have to be open 8 hours per day, but there's no set time we're to keep it at normal office hours, because that's what the statute was before. We can change that around. So the board will be looking at that. We've already talked about ideas about what if. So we'll be continuing to try to improve this thing and not change it anymore when we have to.
Yeah.
Because with, you know, when you prove things, you change them.
Yeah.
Elections, we didn't know 2 weeks ago what those hours were gonna be. The bill was just passed and signed, got done 2 weeks ago. So it's been very fluid coming up here to the end. And a lot of clerks are very, very nervous right now, including me, but we'll pull it together. I mean, everything's going well.
Good.
I'm excited.
Thanks for the job you do.
Hey,
Sure.
Kenny, one quick question. How you doing on, you know, having people, you know, at the polls to work them from, because you have to have, you know, Republican, Democrat.
Right, we have to have party parity, and along with
Right.
the legislation we got passed this last round, we can use independents and others, you know,
Okay.
which has been a huge help.
Sure.
And I encourage those folks, because they didn't, you know, they've never been able to work election work. I encourage those folks to volunteer. But we're still a few short Democrats. We've got a couple of alternates now, but that usually won't hold out until something always happens between now and election day that we have a few people miss. But that's the other improvement we've got. We usually use about 200, and we're using 60. That's just what we've been able to do with this new legislation change and using these polling locations instead of precinct locations. It's
And that saves money.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Saves money. It's good. Good work. Thanks.
Thanks, Kenny.
Thank
Hi,
you.
Counselor. You good?
Yes. Thank you, Judge.
Absolutely, buddy.
I would like to announce that next week, we will be observing National Correctional Workers Week. It's a week that I get very excited about every year, that we really get to recognize and publicly appreciate our jail deputies that do a wonderful job every day of keeping our community safe. We'll be having several meals provided for our deputies. One is by you in the fiscal court. Several other entities that are providing a meal for our deputies that'll be on duty throughout the week. Wednesday, we'll be having a staff meeting here in the fiscal courtroom. That's at 9 o'clock. There'll be coffee and donuts, and we'll be recognizing several staff members, Employee of the Year, Employee of the Quarter, several special act awards, and service recognition. Friday, we will be having a meal out back of the jail. Actually, Thursday night, we'll have a smoker on site. We'll be smoking briskets and Boston butts and chicken all night Thursday night. And then Friday, we'll be having a meal for all of our deputies and families, law enforcement, first responders, and anyone else. And I invite all of you to stop by, say a word to our deputies, and appreciation for them, and just join us for a meal. We'd appreciate it very much. But again, thanks to all of the donations that's been handed out and will be used next week for meals and different things. And it's going to be a great week, and I really enjoy it every year.
I'm looking forward to it too.
Thank you.
Thank you for your leadership. Appreciate it. Sure, you good? All right. Good stuff. Comments from department heads. Everybody good? Comments from the audience. All right. I need a motion to pay the claims and approve the transfers.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, call the roll.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Master Buckin?
Yes.
Master Robinson?
Yes.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes, our next fiscal court meeting will be May the 10th, 2022, and just remember, it'll be in Berea. That's the first meeting of every odd month, is always held in Berea. So May the 10th, 2022 will be our next fiscal court meeting back in Berea. That will be at 9:30. I need a motion and a second to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Call the roll.
Master Buckin?
Yes.
Master Robinson?
Yes.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Thank y'all. Good to see everybody. Thanks for being here.